looked at signing that contract and went, yeah, no, that's a good deal for both our immediate future and our long-term future. Like, wow, if I would have probably got out of there if I was LeBron and I saw that. We're committed to 5 years, $110 million to Kevin Love when he didn't play hardly at all for us in the playoffs, and we still won 2 games in the NBA Finals. And we've got a young guy that plays his exact same position by the name of Tristan Thompson, who you just gave 4 years, $80 million to, and actually did play for us in the playoffs. So that's one that I hugely think that was one of the worst, if not the worst, offseason move that any team made, was the Cavaliers re-signing Kevin Love to a 5-year, $110 million contract. Now, granted, if they would have signed him to a 1-year, $20 million contract or a 2-year, $20 million to $40 million contract, I'd have a totally different take on it. But to commit $110 million over the next 5 years to that guy, this is the NBA, okay? You can't just cut him and you don't got to pay him no more, So I think that was awful, and I think the Cavaliers need to win a championship next year or the following year, or that's it. They're done. Their window is closed. LeBron will leave then after that second year. I think that's another reason LeBron signed a 2-year deal, is not just to take advantage of the cap increase at the end of that deal, but also to assess his situation and have a chance to get out and go somewhere else, because that team's going to be stuck with who they got, whether it's working or not. Let's see. Okay, moving on. Sorry to keep ranting on Kevin Love, but I'm a Minnesotan. I'm a Timberwolves fan, so I can't stand Kevin Love. I know him too well. Draymond Green re-signed a 5-year, $85 million deal with the Warriors. See, look at that. Re-signing 5 years, $85 million. How is what Kevin Love did at any point in his life worth $25 million more to the Cavaliers than what Draymond Green has done? Crazy. Doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it does to you. I don't know. The Milwaukee Bucks, who I'm trying to create more fans for, because they just, why not? Why not be a Milwaukee Bucks fan? They signed Greg Monroe from the rival Detroit Pistons. He is their new big man. That's a very good signing from everything everything I've read. Dwayne Wade re-signed a 1-year, $20 million deal with the Heat. That's a whole lot of crazy right there. Josh Smith signed a 1-year veterans minimum with the Clippers. I don't think that makes the Clippers any better. Mike Dunleavy re-signed with the Bulls, 3 years, $14.5 million. I don't think that makes the Bulls any better. Jeremy Lin signed a 2-year, $4 million contract with the Hornets. I think that's good for both of them. That's about the right price. Everybody needs a backup point guard. I got no problem with that one. Paul Millsap re-signed a 3-year, $48 million deal to stay with the Hawks. I think that's fairly right for all parties involved. Brandon Knight, point guard for the Phoenix Suns, 5 years, $70 million. That seems like a little too much for him to me. Let's see what else we got here real quick. Gary Neal, 1 year, $2.1 million with the Wizards. Wayne Ellington with the Nets. They got a steal there, 1 year, $1 million, $1.5 million. Goran Dragic of the Heat, that's who he was traded to, 5 years, $90 million. I love the player. Those numbers seem a little big to me, but you got to do what you got to do as well. Jimmy Butler with the Bulls, 5 years, $90 million. I think that one was spot on. Costa Koufos, if I'm saying that right, big man for the Kings, 4 years, $33 million. They're just collecting size and don't seem to have any clue what to do with it. Robin Lopez signed with the Knicks, 4 years, $54 million. So there you go. Congratulations, Knicks fans. Your prayers have been answered. Your woes are over. You landed one of the Lopez brothers in free agency. Congratulations. As I mentioned, Paul Pierce with the Clippers. That's a 3-year, $10.5 million deal. Who else we got? Wesley Johnson going to the Clippers for the veterans minimum over 2 years. That's a really good deal for them, actually. Patrick Beverley staying with the Houston Rockets, point guard, 4 years, $25 million, allowing James Harden to be more of a true two-guard. Great for them. Monte Ellis signed a 4-year, $44 million deal to be the point guard for the Indiana Pacers. I'd have brought that down just a couple million, but you got to do what you got to do. Thaddeus Young, formerly of the Minnesota Timberwolves, signed a 4-year, $50 million contract with the Nets. I don't know on what planet he's worth that. But good for you, Thaddeus, and good luck to the Nets. And then let's see, boy, are there any other? Marco Bellinelli signed with the Kings. I was sad to see him leave the Spurs, even though I don't like the Spurs. I liked him. Luis Scola on the Raptors, blah, blah, blah. Tyson Chandler, 4 years, $52 million with the Suns. That is insanity. The Suns front office is insane. They're spending $70 million on a point guard named Brandon Knight and $50 million on a washed-up, old, past his prime, slow, big body in Tyson Chandler. Wow. If I were the basketball fans in Phoenix, I would be on the lookout for my basketball team to be threatening to move to a different city sometime in the near future, as the ownership is clearly trying to reduce attendance and sales and profit by fielding the crappiest team possible. Iman Shumpert re-signed with the Cavs for 4 years, $40 million. Okay, I take it back. The Kevin Love signing wasn't the worst signing. Committing to Iman Shumpert for another 4 years at $10 million a year, that's got to be the worst signing. The Cavaliers have lost their mind, and wow. I hope you enjoyed the run this year, Cleveland Cavaliers fan, because that thing's going to blow up in your face, and it's going to be ugly for a long time after it does. Corey Brewer re-signed with the Rockets, 3 years, $24 million. He actually had a nice resurgence with them. Former T-Wolf that couldn't do anything. Big shocker there. Al-Farouq Aminu, power forward now for the Blazers, replacing LaMarcus Aldridge. He got a 4-year, $30 million deal. That was actually a pretty good value signing, in my opinion. Rodney Stuckey, point guard for the Pacers, 3-year, $21 million. That's an okay deal. Brook Lopez, the other Lopez brother, got 3 years, $60 million from the Nets. So we've got both Lopez brothers in the New York, New Jersey area. I'm sure there was no collusion taking place whatsoever there either. Leandro Barbosa re-signed a 1-year, $2.5 million deal to stay with the Warriors. Wesley Matthews just ripping apart the bank in Dallas, signing a 4-year, $70 million deal with the Mavericks. That's a terrible signing as well. I like Wesley Matthews a lot as a player, but there is no way by any measures conceivable that he warrants a 4-year, $70 million salary in the NBA when you've got a guy who's almost the same player in Aaron Aflalo that the Knicks signed for 2 years and $16 million. Can't believe I actually gave the Knicks props, genuine props, on a transaction there. Damari Carroll staying with the Raptors, 4 years, $60 million. That's pretty so-so to me. We've got the Nuggets traded away Ty Lawson, and I believe the Dallas Mavericks traded for Darren Williams of the Nets, something like that. I'll have to verify that and get that back to you next week. Excuse me. Kyle Singler, Joel, and Enes Kanter, 4 years, $70 million to stay with the Thunder. I'm actually a huge fan of that signing. I think that's brilliant with how young and how much potential and how much talent Enes Kanter has, and you have to expect either Westbrook or Durant to go sometime here in the next couple years where you need other complementary star pieces. That's right, I said complementary star pieces in place, and Enes Kanter is just that, regardless of which one stays and which one goes. So I actually like that one. Oh, it's a tiny bit too much money, but you got to do what you got to do. Here's a crazy one. This one might take the cake for worst signing in the NBA offseason as well. Reggie Jackson will play for the Detroit Pistons, 5 years, $80 million. Not 8, not 18, like 5 years, $18 million. That's about what Reggie Jackson is worth to the Pistons or any basketball team. 5 years, $80 million. So again, you've got Detroit just not having a clue what they're doing at all. They also signed Aaron Baines, 3 years, $20 million. Wow, way to go. T-Wolves, Kevin Garnett, 2 years, $16 million. Don't worry about that. There's no way he plays out those whole 2 years. It will result in cap space in future years. I want to say you're required to spend a minimum amount of money anyway. So this was just all math stuff, reward stuff, good faith stuff. You want Kevin Garnett to be on good terms with your organization and to be involved with and a part of the Timberwolves organization until the day he dies, if you know what's best for you and the Timberwolves organization. So while some people say that it's too much money, too many years, I have no problem with the KG contract whatsoever, and neither should you if you're a T-Wolves fan. Rajon Rondo signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Kings of Sacramento. Nice big commitment there on both parties. And that is going to close out our NBA free agency recap. All right, that was not a quickie. That was kind of like a third serving of meat. All right, we'll have to try and squeeze in the NHL offseason version of what I just did next week or the following week, sometime very soon, I promise. For those hockey fans who are bummed that they haven't heard anything about hockey, well, guess what? The Wild re-signed Devin Dubnyk a few weeks ago, and that's when we could all stop paying attention to the hockey offseason as Wild fans, as that was the one and only thing that was really of the utmost importance to us. So there you go. But like I said, I'll try and get to it. UFC 190 is going to be featuring Ronda Rousey. Here we will preview that in more detail in the coming weeks. Again, I will not talk about that tonight. NASCAR, I already mentioned the Bush family, so you'll have to just count that. So let us get to our wrestling talk for the night, and then we will close up here with Balls Deep Thought of the Day. All right, so this past Sunday was WWE's Battleground pay-per-view. It was the filler setup throwaway pay-per-view that it always is, not to say that it wasn't entertaining or had good matches. In fact, the first 90 minutes to 2 hours of this pay-per-view was fantastic and way above the normal level of these types of pay-per-views. However, once we got to the finish of the tag team champion match, we could kind of tell, okay, I think I know where this is going. And then when we saw the horrendous offensive Kevin Owens tapping out to John Cena finish in their match for the United States Championship, that's when it really started to take a turn for the worse and go into the crapper. Our Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar main event match, in air quotations, as I'm sure you could just tell I did, was a joke. The Undertaker, all of a sudden the lights go out as Brock goes to pin Seth Rollins, and you hear the gong, and the lights come on, and the ref has disappeared, and Seth Rollins has disappeared, and just there's the Undertaker out of nowhere, and nobody rings a bell to end the match, which is what should have happened. Someone should have rang the bell, okay? And then the winner of this match as a result of disqualification is Brock Lesnar. However, still champion Seth Rollins. Just they disappeared. You're supposed to forget that they were ever there. Just be in awe of the Undertaker and kiss Undertaker's butt and flip out of your seat because, oh my God, it's the Undertaker. Oh, yes. It's pathetic and ridiculous how these people just go, oh, Undertaker, I'm happy. Everything I hate about WWE, oh, nope, it's all great now. None of the things you do that I complain about sucking every week suck anymore because, oh, you found a way to give me the Undertaker. Undertaker's one of the best of all time, and I love the Undertaker as a sports entertainment fan. As both a professional and a person, I very much respect and admire the man. He's in his 50s. He's a once-a-year wrestler. For the last 5 years, he's been a once-a-year wrestler. Okay? If he wants revenge on Brock for ending his streak fair and square at WrestleMania, mind you, Brock didn't cheat. There were no low blows, no weapons, no outside interference or distraction. It was as clean of a victory as is possible in that, in the field of sports entertainment. If you want revenge on him, why not wait till he gets the title back from Seth and then come out and say, all right, your butt's mine, your ass is mine at SummerSlam. I'm taking your title. You took my streak, I'm going to take your title. It's not revenge if you don't have anything to take away from the guy. Well, by doing what he did, he took away his opportunity. Okay, well then it should be done. Then he shouldn't have any more revenge necessary than that he needs to accomplish by beating him in a match, which he shouldn't do anyway, by the way. So I was not a fan at all of the last two finishes for the Battleground pay-per-view. I wasn't a fan at all of most of the writing.